Do you support the recent rate restructuring, which raises the fixed fees for the customers? And we'll start with Don Krupa.
Well, first of all, when I seen that, I was very disappointed. When somebody conserves energy and we penalize them, I'm against that. High energy users, we should take a look at that. My goal when I put my name for this office is reasonable rates for the ratepayers. And if we look back on my tenure at MUD for 18 years, I was strictly for the ratepayers, and I will do the same for OPPD.
Thank you very much. Tom Mulligan.
Well, you don't like to second guess anybody, and I think it really drives home the fact of the difficult decisions that a board of directors has to do for a company. That rate structure, the package that was passed, tries to more equitably distribute the cost of maintaining what it takes to transform, to deliver the electricity to all of the customers, whether they be residential or commercial. And if you look at the infrastructure that the power company has to maintain, it's hundreds of millions of dollars. And I'll just use a quick analogy. I used to kid, that you can't build the church for Easter Sunday. But with a power company, with the mission that they have, they do have to build the church for Easter Sunday. Because when I want to turn on my light switch, when I want to turn on my air conditioner, when I want to turn on my furnace, I expect that power to be there. So it's a real challenge. If elected and when elected, I will do whatever I can to control those costs so that we minimize the impact to the consumer, whether it be the industrial consumer, the commercial consumer, or the residential consumer.
Thank you. Paul Anderson.
I agree with what Mr. Kruka said. What I add to that, I just, especially the residential rate users, I don't understand how the board could implement this fixed rate increase, especially to the ratepayers, which I call stockholders, who live on a fixed income. I have sympathy for those ratepayers, and I agree with what Mr. Kruka said. I believe the board needs to take another look at that vote.
Thank you. Colin Kavanaugh.
Kind of citing right in here what was just said there. I recently talked to a couple ratepayers and who very much were kind of upset with what had happened with the new rate structure. And they're folks that are on fixed income, and this one gentleman was telling me that he wasn't sure where that money was going to come from to pay his bill. He had a little bit of savings, and he's afraid that would probably be where it would have to come from, that his budget is so tight. When you're on a fixed income, it's very difficult. I would not have voted for that rate structure. You cannot raise rates disproportionately on people in the low income class in a city. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. And in the same vein, allowing big users of power in the city, that you actually lowered some of their rates. I think it could have been done differently. I think it could have been done better, and I would hope to affect some change in that fashion should I become a board member. Thank you.
Thank you. And Craig Moody.
So I've knocked on probably maybe 2,500 doors, 2,000 to 2,500 in the last month, and this is unequivocally the issue that is on people's minds. People are upset about it, and I agree for the reasons stated by some of the gentlemen with me, It punishes those that have done a good job of being energy efficient and conserving. It's going to raise costs for primarily low-income users, people who are having trouble making ends meet to begin with. And quite honestly, one of the biggest issues as it relates to this is the process that they went through. You know, OPPD said that they studied this for 3 years. Once it got to the board, it was pretty well refined. And I can't say that the board or OPPD management, they didn't appear to be terribly excited about really listening to the public's input and changing what they were planning to do. I think it's fair to say, even though, and I was at many of the board meetings and some of the community forums around this issue, and there was a groundswell of feedback that they were getting. And at best, I would say that they sort of trimmed around the edges the program that they had already planned. There are better ways to do it. There are undoubtedly better ways to do it. I've studied it extensively. The rate restructuring was the wrong move, and I would definitely work actively if elected on that issue to address it.